Do you know what ruins more CAT seasons than a bad score? One misunderstanding. That the exam that you wrote a few weeks ago was the final judgment on who you are to become. And some of you right now are probably carrying this private thought. Bas yahi tha. And I messed up the only thing that mattered. But here's the part that no one actually told you about CAT explicitly. CAT was never designed to select the final admits. It was just designed to select the interview pool, and not even that completely. Just a small part of that. And most students, in fact more than 90%, actually misread this moment because a lot of students just compute the score based on their responses, or rather their memory of their responses and the response sheets that are out there currently, and they see that, oh shit, mera mock score isse zyada tha. But remember, this is all relative. Agar exam tough tha, to wo sabke liye tha. So don't pass a judgment on yourself just yet. Thodi der aur ruk jao. And I know this because I've been there. People who have actually been with me on this channel know that I screwed up my CAT. And I got super upset about that too. I was so upset I didn't want to give the IIFT exam, but 2 days later, I still wrote the IIFT exam and scored in the 99.9th percentile. And that experience actually taught me that one screw up does not define who I am. And forget even that, after that, I converted each and every single call that I actually got. Before we go any deeper, listen carefully. I have distilled all the experience that I have giving interviews, and that of my friends from Tier 1B schools. People who have actually cracked interviews for firms like Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, HUL, TAS, Microsoft, Google, Avendus Capital, so on and so forth. The list is pretty much endless. So I've taken all this experience and observations from all of that, and I've put together 2 documents for you. So the first document is a completely free starter kit, which is supposed to get you up to speed with how MBA interviews are actually different from the ones that you've taken before and what is actually expected of you. This is designed to help you understand what exactly is being tested. And the second document is the complete MBA Interview Readiness Pro Toolkit. That is the full structured system with story crafting, response frameworks, examples, common pitfalls that you must avoid with the most commonly asked questions during an interview, and all the cornerstones of the behavioral and technical stuff that you're ever going to need for this. This is the culmination of hundreds of hours of interview prep for the top B schools of the country. So if you are serious about MBA interviews, this is the one to get. Now, to keep it fair for myself and for my early supporters, I'm opening this at less than $1,000 for a limited time only. So go grab your copy, links in the description. All right, back to the video. So every year, I see the same pattern. Every year, someone with an 89 percentile is often seen converting, I'm Kozhikode, I'm Lucknow, even sometimes I'm Ahmedabad. And there will always also be cases where people actually crack 99th percentile, got the call from the B schools but did not convert them. Why is that? I mean, for the longest time, I used to think 99 percentile agar cross kar di, to iska to kuch na kuch pakka hi acha ho jayega. But no. That is not how it works. This is not engineering. This is management. And interview calls are not based on percentiles alone. They are actually based on your entire profile, your academic history and the consistency that you have maintained across it, your internships, the quality of them, your work experience, the number of years of work experience that you have, but not just that, the brands that you have on your CV, your certifications, your hobbies, and even the kind of diversity that you actually bring to the table, not just in terms of gender or anything like that, but also in terms of your profile. So for instance, in a batch that largely comes from academic backgrounds such as engineering or business or something like that, someone whose profile is largely from sports is going to be a differentiating factor. Someone who, say, has won a national medal in shooting. But not just that, even things like alignment with the institution's values is something that is taken into consideration. So you may want to think about that. But all this presents you with so many damn variables that it makes it near impossible to say if you're going to get a call from a certain B school. But here's the thing, if CAT was everything, these calls would basically be a spreadsheet that is sorted from top to bottom, from 100 onwards. But that is not the case, not even close. Fun fact, in 2020, a document had actually leaked accidentally showing CAT percentiles of every candidate who was attending a particular B school that year. And उस document को देख के ना लोगों के होश उड़ गए थे. Because जितनी भी उनके misconceptions थे about most of the people actually being over a certain percentile, those misconceptions were thoroughly quashed. So, इतनी जल्दी भी खुद को जज मत करो कि final lap run करने से पहले ही हार मान जाओ. Because think about it, how is it that two people with the same percentiles can receive a totally different set of calls? Because CAT was not the full story. It never was. If this instantly reduced your anxiety by even 1%, then like the video so more people can actually find this video and actually benefit from it. Because again, अपनी मेहनत को बर्बाद करना कोई deserve नहीं करता. Alright, let's talk about interviews. Interviews exist for one reason. Your exam results measured in numbers can only measure performance, but they cannot measure potential. Your percentile tells them what you've done in 2 hours, but your interview is going to tell them what you've been doing for 20 years. And that is the reason why personal interview carries the highest weight in the final composite score. And it's not to punish people, it's definitely not because, there's a lot of stuff going around कि okay, इनके इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस की वेटेज ज़्यादा है तो ये कुछ बकवास करके इधर उधर से पैसे लेके लोगों को घुसा देंगे. Nothing like that. Don't get into all that. That is not the point. Think of it like this. जब भी स्कूल से ग्रेजुएट करके निकलोगे बाहर तो या तो कॉर्पोरेट में जाओगे या फिर कुछ अपना करोगे, राइट? कॉर्पोरेट में अगर जाते हो तो इंटरव्यूज क्लियर करने ही करने हैं, ठीक है? और अगर खुद कुछ अपना भी स्टार्ट करते हो तो फिर पूरी जिंदगी ही तुम्हारी नेगोशिएशन और इन्फ्लुएंस से चलेगी. So why would any B school that actually cares about its reputation take in people without even seeing if they can actually hold a high stakes conversation? I mean, that is going to be required in each and every stage of your life after that. That is exactly why the real season for you begins now. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and tell all of you that all of you are going to join a Tier 1B school this year. But I will say this, that you will never max out your potential if you don't prepare for interviews seriously with the right mindset. At least not unless you score some jackpot like a national sport win or something like that. But let's be honest, how many of us are actually doing something like that? To take this a step further, let me ask you something uncomfortable. Are you disappointed with your performance because you think you did badly? Or because you think that the chance is gone? Because these are two very different things. And I can tell you for a fact that as long as you score a decent percentile, not superb, as long as you score even a decent percentile, the chance is not gone. If that question stung, comment still in the game, because the game is not over yet. Play till the end, be a good sport. Daniel Kahneman actually calls this loss aversion. We feel the sting of pain twice as strongly as we would the joy of progress. This is what it looks like in real life. Alright, now that you're actually back with me again, let's discuss the pillars that form the foundation of interviews at B schools. These will be the fundamentals of MBA interviews that actually determine outcomes. So I'm going to be discussing these pillars with you, not the tactics yet, not the frameworks, just the basics that you actually need to understand before you do anything else. Pillar 1. Clarity of direction. Contrary to popular belief, MBA interviews are not exactly looking for certainty, they're looking for clarity. A sense that you have really thought about your life. Not perfectly, but honestly. So the question is never just why MBA? The questions that are hidden behind this are why now? Why you? And most importantly, why this path? It is that clarity that actually converts interviews. Pillar 2. Ownership of your own story. Every candidate has a profile. There's the good, there's the bad, there's the ugly. But very few people actually know how to own it. I mean, अगर मैं तुमसे अभी बोलूं कि okay, 1 मिनट के लिए pretend करते हैं as if we are in an interview and मैं तुमसे directly पूछता हूँ बताओ सर अपने बारे में, तो कितनी चीजें निकलेंगी जो तुम बताना नहीं चाहोगे या फिर जो बोलते बोलते रुक जाओगे oh shit, I should not have said that. कितनी चीजें ऐसी होंगी जिनको तुम नेगेटिवली इंटरप्रेट करते आए हो अपनी लाइफ में और शायद बताते वक्त भी करोगे. और अगर बताते वक्त कोशिश नहीं की नेगेटिवली इंटरप्रेट करने की और पॉजिटिव दिखाने वाले हो तो शायद पकड़े जाओगे. थिंग्स लाइक मार्क्स अच्छे नहीं थे, उस टाइम पे मेहनत नहीं करी थी, कॉलेज गलत चूज कर लिया, जॉब ऑफर एक्सेप्ट करने से पहले सीनियर्स से शायद अगर मैं पूछ लेता तो वो मेरे को बता देते कि ये गलत डिसीजन है, एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा. यार देखो, तुम्हारी लाइफ है, your academics, your choices, your decisions, your circumstances, or rather the circumstances that you were forced to live with, stuff like that. MBA interviews reward those who understand what their journey has been about. I'm not asking कि तुम वापस जाओ टाइम में और अपने पूरे पास्ट को बदल दो. That's not the ask here. I'm not saying that if you don't have a perfect past, you're going to be crippled here. What I am saying is, ठीक है, past को तुम change नहीं कर सकते हो, लेकिन past को interpret differently ज़रूर किया जा सकता है. And this man is the one who I picked this idea from, and it has not failed me since. Don't worry, stick with me, समझाऊंगा ये सब का मतलब क्या है. So, you actually make sense of not just what happened, you also try to figure out why it happened, and more importantly, what it changed in you, what it made you. Understanding the why is where the insight is. And that is the kind of approach that you need to take when looking at your own past as well. So start digging into your past and interpreting it in a way that allows you to move forward instead of pulling you down. In the Pro Toolkit, I will give you step-by-step ways to actually craft a compelling personal stories, how to package it, how to deliver it, how to follow a format in which you have the greatest chance of actually packaging it in a coherent, comprehensive response without sounding fake or rehearsed. So go check it out. Let's move to pillar 3, and that is evidence. Not in terms of achievements, but evidence of potential. So interviewers are actually trying to understand how you respond to pressure, how you think, how do you look at situations? Do you actually try to act defensive and protect yourself from them, or do you like to accept challenges? Who are you? How do you learn? How do you look at your own past mistakes? Do you look at them like data points that you actually can learn from and actually did learn from? And if you've been with the channel, you must be wondering why all this sounds so familiar, because this is exactly the kind of things that I was telling you before, Cat. Because guess what? The people who are going to be taking your interviews come from the same set of people who actually designed the paper. I told you this. Now you can see it playing out in each and every step along the way. You must remember something. In these interviews, you're going to be speaking with extremely knowledgeable people. They can be professors, they can also be alums of the B school that you're actually trying to get into. They've been there, they've done that, and they've interacted with people who are far more influential than you. So don't try to impress them in an interview. That is a common misconception, that I'm going to walk into the room and bedazzle them. Sure, but you don't have to tailor everything so as to impress them. You have to signal to them that you're someone who's going to grow extremely fast, who is extremely intentful about his or her decision of joining the B school, and that you're hungry for it. That is something that they value. बिकॉज बहुत लोग देखे हैं मैंने जो कि अपने पास को लेके इतना ब्रैक करने में लगे होते हैं, जो चाहते हैं कि एक्चुअली जो इंटरव्यूअर है वो उनसे इतना इंप्रेस हो जाए कि उनको वहीं राइट देन एंड देयर एक्सेप्टेंस दे दे, कि वो लोग यार अपने पोटेंशियल के बारे में, अपने हंगर के बारे में, अपने मोटिवेशंस के बारे में ना होता है, वो बात ही नहीं कर पाते. एंड जितना थोड़ा बहुत भी निकल जाता है वो भी सबटेक्स्ट में निकलता है. दैट इज नॉट एक्चुअली हाउ यू क्लियर दीज इंटरव्यूज. एंड द वे टू डू इट इज बाय शोइंग देम इंस्टेड ऑफ just telling them. And don't worry, we'll go over all that in the upcoming videos. For now, let's move to the next pillar, which is reflection. This is actually the silent differentiator. Can you talk about a failure of yours without getting defensive? Can you receive a challenge without collapsing? एक मूवी थी जो मैंने बहुत पहले देखी थी, Pursuit of Happiness, starring Will Smith. The central theme of it was that this person played by Will Smith impressed people with his wit and hunger, so much so that they actually gave him a position at Wall Street. What was fantastic was that he did this in a way that did not reek of desperation or come across as begging or anything like that. It was raw, but still graceful. It was something that you could respect. And he signaled it through a raw desire to actually outwork and outsmart each and every person who was working there. Now that is the kind of attitude that actually cracks these interviews as well. But there is a catch here. There's a fine line between arrogance and confidence, but don't worry, I'll show you how to walk it. So you don't have to actually walk in there to impress. You just have to walk in with clarity and confidence to hold a high stakes conversation. So what should you do right now? Not panic study, not memorize answers, and certainly not binge watching interview videos randomly on YouTube. Look, bad habits are extremely hard to break, so whatever you do, galat aadatein please mat palna abhi. So be very selective of who you actually listen to. Right now, do 3 things. 1, get some clarity. At least use the free starter kit linked below. That's going to give you some idea of what to expect in these interviews. Second, map your story. understand your profile, understand your life, understand what kind of signals it's actually giving to the person who's sitting on the other side of the table, and anticipate questions. Start thinking about those in terms of what you learned from them, why you made those decisions, what was the problem, what was the context. Start digging into that, because all of that is going to become the foundation for literally the entire behavioral section that is going to be touched upon in these interviews. And third, prepare intentionally. The advanced toolkit is right there in the description the moment you're willing to go deep. So slow down, understand the landscape, and then start moving. Because like I told you before CAT, calm multiplies performance, and clarity multiplies calm. If there is one thing, however, that I want you to take from this video, especially if you're feeling down because of your performance at CAT, because of the paper or the way the paper was structured, one lost battle does not decide the war. CAT was just one battle. Your interview is the bigger battle. So don't lose hope just yet. You're still fully in it. Go with that mindset, look at your past, take a look at the resources that I've crafted for you, and get going. Just a couple of months. That's it. Food for thought. Until next time.